Hi, I'm Bill Bartman. Welcome to my home. This evening, we're going to be talking about the 9 steps to achieve any goal. But before we do that, I want to talk to you generally about success, and I also want to tell you about some of the results that the people who have followed this method have been able to achieve. And then we'll get into the individual 9 steps. They say that you learn more from your mistakes than you do from your successes. And I think they're right, and I've learned quite a bit from my mistakes. I've learned probably the most important thing that anybody could learn from a mistake, and that is I've learned the secret of success. I've learned that in order to be successful, you have to be willing to take risk. And most people are afraid to take risk because they're afraid they're going to fail. And most people are afraid they're going to fail because they worry about what other people think about them. So the real secret of success is to be able to find a way to raise or increase your self-esteem. Because if you could raise your self-esteem, you'd be less concerned about what other people think about you. And if you're less concerned about what other people think about you, you'd be more willing to take risk. And if you're more willing to take risk, you mathematically increase your chances of success. So I can look and see that some of you might be saying, well, Bartman's been lucky and he's made a couple of bucks and he's done a couple of things, but what does he know about self-esteem? Well, I have a degree in psychology, but I don't think that makes me an authority on self-esteem. I've written a book about self-esteem, but I don't think that makes me an authority on self-esteem. Now, I think I'm an authority on self-esteem because I've lived it. I've seen both sides of self-esteem. I've seen low self-esteem and I've seen high self-esteem. I've seen the face of low self-esteem as I grew up as a child in welfare and poverty. I saw it as I was a 17-year-old kid laying in a hospital bed, scared to death because I was paralyzed from my waist on down. I saw it as a young man who was fired from his job. I saw it as a husband who had to support his wife and 2 small daughters for an entire year on a $10,000 limit credit card. I saw it as a man who had his cars towed away by the IRS because he couldn't afford to pay his taxes. And I saw it as I stood in front of a bankruptcy court and had them take away everything I had owned and worked for my entire life. And I saw it as I was afraid to reach inside my own mailbox to pull out the bills that were inside, knowing that I couldn't afford to pay them. And I saw it as I contemplated the how, not the if, of my own suicide. I've seen the face of low self-esteem, but let me put a little color on that for you. I'm one of 8 children. My dad is a janitor, my mother cleaned houses for a living, and
Sample complete. Ready to continue?